Hey, thank you all for coming. I appreciate you coming down. I'm Charmaine McGuffey, Sheriff of Hamilton County, and standing at my right and left is the new command staff for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and that is, of course, including our Corrections Division, our Road Patrol Division, and our Court Service Division. So what I will do first is I'd like to just make a few opening remarks, and then I'm going to introduce the command staff to you and let you know a little bit about who they are, and then I would like to go over the 90-day plan that I intend to, and all of us intend to work on. So, good morning, everyone. It is a great day, and I thank you so much for being here with us. I wouldn't be here today without the help and support of so many people, for which I am so grateful. And no one has been more supportive than my own wife, Christine, who has stood by my side through this climb, this steep climb, to get to stand here today where I am standing. I'm so grateful to the voters of Hamilton County. It is the voters of Hamilton County who have placed their trust in me, and it is my pledge that I will respond to that trust, and I will hold their trust in great esteem. I'd next like to say my public commitment of ensuring accountability, transparency, and engagement with the community are the foundations of the work before us. My goal in my first 100 days going forward is to build that trust and listen to the department staff and the community ideas and concerns that were going to move us forward together. I am a bridge builder, and nothing is more important to me than building bridges for the community and with the community. I'm so proud to serve with the good men and women of the Sheriff's Office, and I look forward to serving as your sheriff. I am eager and ready to work together to enhance community safety and to ensure that all citizens of Hamilton County believe in the justice system that works for them. So next, I'd like to introduce my command staff. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Command Staff introductions, I couldn't be more proud to introduce to you these people, and I will have each member stand out so that I can introduce them, tell you their name, and this staff is committed to fulfilling with excellence their duties thus far. First, we have Chief Deputy Jay Gramke. Chief Deputy Gramke is a seasoned veteran with 29 years of law enforcement experience with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. Thank you, Chief. Next, we have Chief of Staff Kevin Horn. Kevin has 25 years of experience with the Sheriff's Office and is moving from the position of Fiscal Officer to the Sheriff's Office Chief of Staff. Thank you, Kevin. Next, we have Major of Jail Services Dan Ems. Dan Ems is a 24-year veteran of the Sheriff's Office and will command our jail services. Thank you, Dan. Next, we have Major of Road Patrol, Chris Kettman. Chris Kettman, Major Kettman, has been with the Sheriff's Office for a little over 32 years and will command our Road Patrol services. Thank you, Major. Major Community Liaison Unit, Jackie Reed. Major Jackie Reed has had a 32-year career with the Sheriff's Office and will head up our new Community Liaison Unit. Thank you. The Major of Internal Affairs, Letitia Tish Schuler. Major Schuler has 20-year career in law enforcement and comes to us from the Bureau of Criminal Investigations in Columbus. Major Schuler will lead our Internal Affairs Division. Thank you. Director of Human Resources, Shonda Sullivan, could not be here with us today. She had other commitments, but I will tell you we're very pleased to have her. She will head up our Human Resources as a Director of Human Resources, something the Sheriff's Office has not had in the history of the Sheriff's Office as I've worked here for the 33 years I was here. So Shonda will head that up. She's a certified senior professional human resource person, and will be responsible for the development of our department's resource department. Public Information Officer, Kyla Woods. Kyla comes to the position of our Public Information Officer with a broad experience of broadcast media, communications, marketing, and community engagement. We so look forward to it. Thank you. Sheriff's Executive Assistant, Jasmine Costin. Jasmine Costin has the position of the Sheriff's Executive Assistant, and Jasmine's experience in the educational setting as well as working in the administration with the City of Cincinnati will serve her well here in our department. Thank you. And next, our Fiscal Officer, Jackie Crum. Jackie has 29 years of experience in the Sheriff's Office and moves to this position after serving as an accountant too. Thank you, Jackie. Not everything will happen in day one. We know that. This is a large department, 900 strong, and we have a lot of work to do ahead of us. Every one of us and every one of these command staff members were selected because of their commitment to this excellent department, because of their commitment to the hundreds of personnel that they will supervise, and because of their commitment to criminal justice reform. I'd like to say in the way of reform, we do have a 90-day plan, which I will outline for you for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. That 90-day plan is very comprehensive. I'll talk about it now, and then afterwards I'll take questions. Health and safety of COVID. That is our absolute #1 priority. The community spread of COVID around the country and in Ohio is concerning all of us, and the virus affects every aspect of law enforcement, and it will be especially impactful in jails. And the safety of our staff, the prisoners in our care and custody, and the community is my top priority. We will ensure that all appropriate safety measures are put into place, and I'm going to review the jail. In fact, directly after this press conference, my very next duty is to tour this jail with the jail service commander, Dan Ems, Major Ems, and also the Chief Deputy, Jay Gramke. The three of us will walk through this facility because it is super important that I get to talk to the staff, that I understand what's going on in our jail today, who the population is, and the condition of this jail. That will be my top priority today. Use of force and training. As the sheriff, I am committed to decreasing the incidents of use of force and investigating those incidents when they occur and if they occur. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office has an authorized use of force policy and guidelines and procedures, and we will be reviewing those, and we will have a full review of the policy to ensure that it meets those standards for de-escalation for our officers who are patrolling communities and who are patrolling and supervising in our jail. Use of force instances will be thoroughly reviewed, and any officers who violate that, anyone who violates our use of force policy will be held accountable. We'll work with Hamilton County Commission on ethical policing and courageousness, and that is the EPIC program. We're going to bring that. The Hamilton County Commissioners championed that some time ago. We are absolutely committed to bringing that forth with excellent trainers that we already have on board to start training our people in this age of justice reform. We also are going to bring active bystander training for law enforcement, the ABLE program. And that program will be for all deputies within the Sheriff's Department, supervisors, and support staff as well. Most importantly, I will create a culture of de-escalation. I believe in de-escalation. I think it is the way that we work safely, that we keep ourselves safe as officers when we focus on de-escalating before we have to move to other measures to enforce the law and enforce rules. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. My top goal is to keep everyone in our community safe. No matter their documentation, I want people to feel that they can work with law enforcement when they're reporting a crime, when they've been a victim of a crime. I want them to feel comfortable to come forth to law enforcement, again, regardless of their documentation. The sheriff's office should not be doing the job of the federal government. Using local taxpayer dollars to enforce federal immigration laws is not my goal. Federal immigration laws will be enforced by the federal immigration authorities. And having said that, it is my oath to uphold the Ohio law and the U.S. and Ohio constitutions. All of these that I just mentioned require a warrant to arrest and take custody of any person, including those in the Hamilton County Jail, that warrant be signed by a judge, by a judicial officer who has reviewed the evidence presented. Therefore, I want to make it very clear that the Sheriff's Office will not cooperate with ICE to accept detainer requests that are not signed by a judge. We will also not be notifying immigration authorities when someone is without documentation that is scheduled to be released from our jail by a judge's order. I will honor warrants of arrest and satisfy constitutional requirements. That is my job. That is my oath. It's what I pledge to do. I'll treat every warrant of arrest, whether it's from other jurisdictions in Ohio or other states, and ICE, using those same constitutional requirements. Our Citizens Advisory Review Board, this is going to be a first of its kind initiative in the history of Hamilton County. The purpose is to increase transparent and community engagement with the Sheriff's Office. We have never had this with the Sheriff's Office. Other departments in this greater Cincinnati area do use community advisement, and we intend to be a part of that. The purpose is to increase transparency and community engagement, and the members will be voluntary to this board because, quite frankly, we don't have any money to support that. But we will support it with volunteer efforts, and our work will begin during this 100 days of my administration. We'll create the framework, selection process, training, and frequency of meetings, and we will be very transparent about that so that all of the activities in our Hamilton County Sheriff's Office will be available, and updates will be available on policing and jailing patterns in Hamilton County. Fiscal management, it's a critical responsibility of the Sheriff's Office to manage this budget. It's exactly what I intend to do and manage it responsibly with transparency for everyone in the county. I commit to working to an online financial reporting and transparency of our budget. We're going to use our dollars fiscally very carefully, and we are going to make sure that when the taxpayers put their trust in us to spend their money, it is done wisely. Community engagement, I'm deeply committed to building trust in the community, creating a culture where citizens are able to access information they need and interact with our staff in a positive manner. To achieve this, we're going to have a first of its kind initiative that is the creation of the Hamilton County Liaison Unit. That unit, we will build it. Right now, we have Major Jackie Reed, who will represent building that unit, and we're going to work very diligently on that in our first 90 days. As sheriff, I and the other personnel will attend community meetings in the area so that we understand what people need, what people want from us as the Sheriff's Office, and we will talk about contracted services for law enforcement. I'll be out in the communities talking to those communities that contract with us for our law enforcement services. In addition, we will, of course, collaborate with the needs regarding justice reform, homelessness, immigration, mental health, and addiction services. We will be successful in bringing justice reform to our county by working together and by building those bridges through collaboration. I am eager and excited to begin our work together. I thank you, and I will take any questions that you have.
Sheriff, I have two questions for you. First,
yes.
In November, when you first took office,
yes,
I asked you specifically what would happen with people who were involved in the case against you, who testified in the case against you. And you said that you're going to ask them to work hard and help you make the department the best it's ever been. I asked if you would retaliate. You said, I have absolutely no intent on anything that even shows a retaliation. Yet you sent a letter out to several people this last week dismissing them before having any conversation with them. How is that not retaliation?
What I will explain to you is this. There are many people that were involved in that lawsuit that are still working here. There are many people that testified, that gave depositions, that I have plans for. There are many people.
They're protected by the union.
And there are people who were not protected by the union that were here during my tenure, during that time of the incidents that occurred, and those people are still here. And what I will say is this: every sheriff in the state of Ohio, and there are 88 of them, comes into office, and this has been my experience. I've worked for 3 sheriffs now, 3, and every sheriff that came into this office brought their command staff with them. It is important as the sheriff that you, and I did interview people. I interviewed people for these positions because I need people who want to bring it forward and concentrate on the reforms that I want to bring forward. What I observed, you know, as my time of being the major and in the time that I campaigned, is the direction I want to go in and the people that want to go in that direction with me. And there are many people here that were involved in that lawsuit. I don't have an axe to grind. I'm doing simply what every other 88 sheriffs in the state of Ohio do, and I should not be expected to do any differently when I'm actually selecting a command staff that is going to bring this sheriff's department into this century and also make us a model for the state of Ohio.
And as a follow-up, did you have the authority to actually dismiss people before even taking the oath of office?
I took the oath of office several days ago, and those letters were signed after I took the oath of office, sir.
Oh, so this morning's was just a ceremonial? Yeah. This morning was just ceremonial?
It's important that the family and friends of the officers here, the command staff, realize the importance and the ceremony that goes with wearing this uniform and taking the responsibility of the sheriff's office. Yes.
You talked a lot about building trust within the community.
Yes.
Kind of following up on these last questions, how do you build trust within the department? Just, you know, after this lawsuit now it's settled, forward, but how do you actually build that trust within the department to make sure people follow your command?
We're building it as we speak. We're building trust because look at my command staff. This command staff is reflective of what our community looks like. This command staff brings years of service, 30 years, 29 years, 24 years. People who have been in public service for a very long time and who have a commitment to that. And if you look at the audience that came here today to see these people and celebrate their positions of being sworn in, those people are going to help us build trust. And every one of them, in fact, said that to me. I've had many officers come down who have shook our hands, who have said to us, we're with you 100%. I don't have any doubt, not even one moment's doubt, that this department is going to move forward very immediately, and we're all going to be on the same page, and we're all going to get along.
Another question?
Yes, sir.
Just I guess a procedure, procedural moment. For us in the field, when
Yes.
we show up on a scene, will there be officers on the scene able to talk to us, or will we have to wait for a PR person? Or
We have a public information officer, and her name is Kyla Woods. I just introduced her to you. She will be available as soon as we can get to a scene. We will. Obviously, our staff, this command staff, is on call 24/7. Certainly, there will be officers. There will be people who are empowered to speak to the press. I want to have as much transparency as we can, and I do. And as you know, we can't always release all the information immediately because of crime investigations and so forth. But certainly, we'll be available to you. Absolutely.
Can you just go into a little bit about your de-escalation plans?
Sure, absolutely. We're going to start prioritizing that training. I'm going to make sure that the supervisors insist when officers are in a situation that they start de-escalating when they can. And certainly I know, I've been in law enforcement for 33 years. I know there's times you can't de-escalate because it happens so quickly. And the officer is making, decisions in seconds, life and death decisions. So we take that into account. But when we can, particularly in this jail, when we can de-escalate and out on the road in those communities, when we can talk to people and we can find out the whys and whats, and it's safe to do so, I'm going to insist we do that, and I'm going to insist we document it on those use of force reports.
The settlement that was reached last week, do you feel vindicated?
I do. I do. Yes.
Why is that?
Next question.
Why is it that you feel vindicated?
What I'll say about being involved in that lawsuit and now having the lawsuit settled is I am so glad to move on. I am so glad to turn the page. I absolutely understand that in in this day and age, if you want to run a sheriff's office, you're going to have to stand up for what you believe in, and you're going to have to tell people who you are, and you have to stand by your word, and that's who I am. And as far as that lawsuit's concerned, it's over, it's settled, and I'm great with it, I'm good with it, and I'm good with the fact that we're all going to move forward together.
Last question. Anyone? Yep.
I just want to, could you go into more detail about the Hamilton County Liaison Unit? Exactly what does that entail?
Sure, I certainly can. There are so many people in our community who engage with the criminal justice system who really don't understand the system. They don't understand, perhaps they want to help someone who's been incarcerated or who is getting incarcerated, and they want to help them move on with their life, or they just want to find out that they're okay, or they want to pass on medical information that we need to know. We need to have a clear avenue of communication for that. When we talk about engaging the community, we have a program called Supersedes, and we bring at-risk kids into our justice center, into our law enforcement arena, so that we can impact them in very positive ways. And that will be headed up as well, and many other programs like that will follow. We will also engage with the homeless community. We want to go out to the communities, to community events. The liaison officers will be out there, and ultimately they'll be answering the phones. And how important is that? Everybody can relate to being in a situation where you want to call, particularly the justice system, whether it's road patrol, the jail, court services, and have a basic question answered. We want to have a person answer that phone who will be polite, who will talk you through whatever your question is, and answer things that you need to know. And I think that liaison unit is going to be a model for the state of Ohio. I absolutely do.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you so much for being here. You have an appointment.
I do. My next priority is to tour this jail. I'm very interested in getting to that, and I want to talk to the officers in uniform who are here and the prisoners who are incarcerated in this jail, understand who's here, how we can best help those people, how those people can move on with their lives, and how we can all stay safe, particularly in this COVID era.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
everyone.